Hey everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. We are hanging out today, just you and I, Andrew. We've been bombarded with guests the last few weeks, but now it's just you and me.
Finally.
Getting our alone time.
Get them out of here.
Making sure that we stay right as a couple.
That's right. It's couples therapy now.
Yeah, right. You know, sometimes, you have the kids all around.
Right.
You don't get to focus on the one-on-one each other. So, but today we're going to talk about some current things that are kind of current things. Some hot topics, things that have been in the news.
And not the store in the mall.
Is that still a store in the mall?
I don't know. I haven't been in there since I was probably 14.
Who goes to the mall anymore?
This is true. Well, Scheels is in the mall, so I go there for that.
So you go to the mall.
Well, and then the boys like to go ride the carousel, so we take them over there as well.
Fun fact, Andrew and I used to work at the mall. You were my boss.
Where did you work at the mall?
I don't think I worked there very long, but I think you had the watch store. Yeah. And you
worked at the watch store with me?
I think I worked there. I'm pretty sure I worked. I've at least opened it or something. I wasn't there by myself ever, but
I mean, maybe you did. I don't remember.
I think I worked there because there was a time where I was like really needing a job and I was sleeping at your house and you're like, just come make me money or something. Probably is what you said. Come here so I can get some money back on this investment here. But yeah, so we worked at a mall. I remember the mall walkers every morning. Yes, yeah. I did. I was definitely there. I did open it up a few times. I'm pretty sure I had gas siphoned out of my truck when I was working there because I came in with a full tank and I left and I was like, man, there's no gas in this thing. What happened? But yeah, good times. We worked at a mall and you apparently still like to go to one. And I try
no, that is not the word. But you do things for the kiddos that you
it's always the kids' fault. Kids ruin everything.
They do. Golly. Luckily, mine's almost out the door.
Well, today, Andrew, we had some top stories that we wanted to kind of cover. This is in the last couple months. It's nothing that's like week to week pressing, but it feels like this is one of those kind of stories that comes up all the time. Like, I feel like we have this kind of situation every year, and it's this big battle back and forth. What we're going to talk about is a couple different states and how they're trying to put God back in the school system or put God back into the community in the form of passing a law, passing some legislation that kind of makes that happen. So let's start off with Texas. They proposed Promise Month, which this is where, let me read this real quick. Texas lawmakers introduced a resolution to designate April, which is already passed, as Promise Month, a Christian-themed celebration highlighting Americans' biblical foundations. This proposal includes biblical references and advocates for Christian values, aligning with other legislative actions that like mandate for prayer and Bible time in public schools. So this story came out on May 7th of 2025. So after April, they're like, you know what? Enough of this 420. We need Promise Month.
Okay.
I will say, when I saw that Promise Month, I was thinking it was going to be like a keep yourself till marriage.
Oh,
like a promise ring month.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was expecting it to be, like some sort of, it's prom season. Let's get everybody to promise not to do anything crazy on prom.
Sign your commitments, guys.
It's our promise to God, I guess. So this was a Republican representative or state representative, Carrie Isaac.
Well, if it is anything about God, and in Texas, it's Republican led.
Yeah.
Same thing as if it was Oklahoma.
So that happened. Promise Month proposed. I don't really know if it's passed. These are all like...
Well, if it's May 7th, absolutely not, because that's one day.
Oh, since today. Oh, well, maybe it was just updated May 7th. Or maybe it came out yesterday. I don't know.
But even at that, it wouldn't be pushed through that quick if it was just
right.
proposed.
Nothing is ever pushed through that quick. But just so that's something that they pushed recently. Okay. Number 2, Oklahoma's Bible mandate in schools. Oklahoma State Superintendent. Let me say that again. Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters has mandated that every grade 5 through 12 should have a King James Bible and propose new social studies standards requiring biblical lessons starting in the first grade. This move has sparked widespread resistance from various groups who believe religious education should be a parental choice.
And this one I 100% agree with. Not only put the Bible back in school, not necessarily just because it's God, but because it's history. And this is being brought up to be taught in social studies classes, so history. So 100% I agree with this. Even if I wasn't a Christian, I feel I would agree with this because I'm not one who wants to erase the past. I'm not out there trying to tear down statues or rename forts to try and ignore what has happened in the past. I mean, I feel this is a great thing that
So you agree we should
not King James. No, absolutely not. We should not put King James in every class.
I saw every classroom should have a King James Bible in it, and I was like, well, I definitely know the age of the person that
who wrote this. Well, not necessarily that, or the denomination of the person.
True. It could be the denomination as well.
So yes, NIV, NASB, a Bible. I wouldn't. No, you can't even say a Bible because I forget they also have the Gangsta Bible.
Ebonics.
They have. No, it's called the Gangsta Bible.
No, there's another one. Ebonics,
oh, is it?
I think.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different weird translations of the Bible.
I was going to say, at least you can put like the Message Bible in there, so then it doesn't feel like the Bible. It just feels like a story, man.
Right?
Just read the book.
Children's Bibles. Come on, just put those in there. I mean,
I guess that's true. This is for younger, like 5th grade, 6th grade.
So, not King James, because we don't need a bunch of thous and that and these and those and all that in being taught to the first graders. But
yeah, I think I'm on the same point with you when it comes to. I think there's a balance, and there's just a constant. Everybody's trying to force everybody to believe and practice and their thing, So like, I think on both sides of it, partly why I tend to vote for like things that are smaller government and stuff is like, I don't want
to be told what
to do.
Right.
I believe
we're
that
not communist.
It should be like up to the right of the parents or whatever. But there's also the thing of send your kids to Christian school if that's the kind of education leadership that you want them under for their lives. I know that people can't afford that. I get that there's all this schematics. Is that what it's called? Help me. Line,
I don't know the
please.
word you're trying to think
please.
of. There's
all these different variables. I'll just put that. All these different variables. Nuances, maybe. So I feel like that this is one of those things where I don't want to force biblical teaching on people. Maybe, and I feel like that's what we're trying to do is always pass these laws, forcing them to hear our teaching, to get indoctrinated or whatever. But I do think that on the opposite, there is a neglection of historical data that backs up who Jesus is, who Jesus was, this time of the period of the life of Christ, and just in that whole time frame in general, and that a lot of things are left out and excluded from those conversations that shouldn't be as well.
See, I don't think we're forcing people or trying to indoctrinate them. Because again, I would look at it from the historical aspect. That's the same way Gandhi and Buddha and Muhammad are all taught in schools, is the historical aspect, not they're trying to force Buddhism upon you or anything like that. Because I never once felt like Buddhism or anything was being forced upon me.
Well, maybe this will go into the Texas thing, the Promise Month, where they are trying to mandate prayer time, biblical time, or Bible time in public schools. That's a little bit more of a forcing time, I guess.
All right. Potentially
but
that.
On a historical basis of just, here's the facts.
Right.
Lay it out there, man.
Right.
Just I'm agreeing with that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all these other religions are allowed to be taught. So why do you take such offense to Christianity, but you don't take offense to Hinduism or Islam or something or other religions? That's what really irritates me and enrages me is you take such offense to one religion and not all religions.
And really, being in the Bible Belt, there probably isn't as much pushback. There's pushback for sure, but there's probably a lot more people that are gung-ho. Like,
right.
Yeah, we
more
should
accepting
do that.
of
Yeah.
it. Right.
Whereas
if you're in California or New York or Chicago, Indiana, South Bend, just popping off my head.
There's going to be more reluctancy. There's a lot of teachers probably right now that have a Bible in their classroom ready to go,
100%.
So
and a gun. Call back to our comedian friend.
Oh, yeah, that's hilarious. It's hilarious because it's possible.
Because it's very true. Not possibly.
All right, should we go to the next one, Andrew?
Sure. What is the next one?
Alabama's 10 Commandments in the classroom. Alabama lawmakers this one says they passed bills mandating the display of the 10 Commandments in public classrooms and banning pride flags. This legislation has both been supported and criticized, with debates focusing on religious expression and First Amendment rights.
I love how everybody screams First Amendment when they are proven when they don't want to be proven wrong on anything. They're just like, oh, it's my First Amendment right to express myself. Whoop-de-doo. Come up with a better argument, guys. For real, that's a hot topic.
It really is. Oh, you don't agree with me? Well, it's my First Amendment right to be wrong.
Right.
Or it's my First Amendment right, which then to them or to whoever is arguing the point is then that makes them right.
Right.
Like that's the winning trump card.
Right. And when somebody says that to me, I already know they're an idiot. And I just stop listening to them.
What is the First Amendment?
Freedom of speech.
Well, I know, but do you know how it reads exactly?
No, not
when you go
verbatim.
fight for our country, you don't know what First Amendment right you're fighting for.
Not verbatim.
That's what everybody says. I fought for this country for my right.
Right?
To
be an idiot.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Listen, I more or less fought so that a fight wouldn't happen here.
Okay.
Anyway, so back to Alabama. We here in Oklahoma, we have our 10 Commandments at the state capitol. And again, historical aspect, I don't see a problem with it being in classrooms or being taught in classrooms. But let's play devil's advocate. If we're allowing that, we need to allow other religious items in the classrooms.
Agreed. And that's where I'm struggling to try to understand, Andrew, is the intent behind all of these different legislative ideas and acts. Is their thought that somebody's going to walk by the 10 Commandments every day and go, you know what? I need to change my life.
Maybe.
Is that what they're really, truly expecting?
No, I feel they're expecting that it will be a reminder that we are a Christian country and we should act as Christians. We're founded on Christian values. And it's more of a value, your morals and value argument than anything.
Okay.
And it's reminding you to be a good person, essentially. That's how I see it. I don't know what their intentions are because I wasn't an author of any of these legislative acts.
I just think that a lot of times we try to force feed people to becoming Christians.
Let's be honest. We force feed everything. You're in marketing. That is your job. You force feed your companies to people, to consumers.
That's right.
That is what we as humans do. We force our ideology down people's throats, and we expect them to accept them or at least tolerate them.
And that's how algorithms work as well. Like, well, it goes back and forth. For high click rates and high engagement rates, they usually force feed you the opposite of what you believe so that you can get enraged and message. But typically you would see, or in the past, you would be able to see mainly everybody who agrees with you, which then makes you think that you're right, even if you're a minority. Right. But then when you start seeing all these other things and you get enraged, like, how these guys are super idiots, blah, 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 blah. but then I do agree, then you need to see them all. Right. Like, you need to see everything that's out there.
Yeah.
Teach it all or teach nothing.
Inform our students and let our students make informed decisions. But we have our own bias, and so that won't ever happen because every teacher has their own bias. And so they're going to favor one over another. In the Bible Belt, we're going to favor Christianity over Hinduism or over other religions, whereas maybe up in Minnesota, they're going to teach more Islam over Christianity, and it's going to be favored up there. Now, there's also other religions that teach hatred towards other religions. And so when your religion is being taught in that area, then you're going to be taught that same hatred towards those other religions as well. So, yeah.
And especially based on the teacher. You know, the convictions of a teacher who teaches whatever topic, a Christian teacher is going to like really downplay and show the cons to other religions. Right. They're going to make sure they hit their mandatory cover of the other religions, but they're going to focus more time on Christianity. Other teachers that believe the opposite are going to do the same thing, but against Christianity, they're just going to be shoved into this.
Dusty,
I did my time.
I feel like you should be out there on that camera with those birds because you literally just parroted what I just said. You just put them in.
We don't have parrots in our backyard.
Right? You need to go out there and you will. You literally just said what I said.
Well, what do you want me to say? Something different? Well, here's this. You're wrong, Andrew. I think somebody who's Christian is going to definitely want to focus on the practices of Islam and Hinduism, and really get that point out there.
I mean, maybe we got some people who like to rub bellies and they're going to teach Buddhism.
Oh my gosh.
I do. I mean, devil's advocate, teach all, teach none type thing. Just allow our students to be informed, and which is going to be very hard because, again, our bias will push through. We got to somehow take our bias out of it.
Here's what we're missing today, Andrew. We're missing somebody that would say, no, this is an amazing thing that we're putting the King James Bible in every classroom, just like how we put it in every hotel room. Mm-hmm. Like, here's are the pros of what happens when a King James Bible is available to I'm trying to say it without laughing.
Again, anything but the King James. Even a new King James, that would be fine because it's not as bad as the King James.
As the old King James.
Right. Any Bible other than the King James, maybe? I can't say that because there's so many ridiculous translations.
Yeah, but I mean, the default one is the NIV. That's
right.
Like one that's widely accepted. The NASB is good too, just maybe a little bit more difficult to read because of some of the terminologies they use that are a little bit more accurate. But
yeah, NIV, put an NIV in every classroom. Perfect.
Okay, so let's change that. So we don't have somebody on here that's saying if we put an NIV Bible in every classroom, that these are the things and these are the pros and how this is going to change. Because I will want to spoiler alert you guys. On your phone, everyone, every student, every teacher has access to Bible, to every...
This is true, but next year, phones aren't allowed in schools in Oklahoma.
Yeah, supposedly. We'll see if that happens. I
mean, yeah, because Tulsa is suing... Tulsa and I believe also Oklahoma City school districts are suing this superintendent so that they don't have to put Bibles in the classrooms or add it to their curriculum, which is why it hasn't happened here yet.
Who's going to be more mad? The people that are trying to stop getting Bibles in the schools, or the people that are going to try to stop getting cell phones not in schools?
Right. Where's
the outrage?
I think the harder fight will be cell phones, honestly, because parents want to be able to get a hold of their students or their children.
I was thinking that, I think it's a personal attack against Elon because my son does have a Tesla and he has to, I was like, where are your car keys? And he was like, oh, they're in the car. And I was like, why are they in? He's like, I just use my cell phone to turn it on.
Yep.
Oh, that's how that works?
Well, in Teslas, they stay on. Smart cars or the electric vehicles, they stay on all day and regulate the temperature and everything. Mm-hmm. So, but again,
and constantly the schools are sending text messages and alerts during the day.
Yes,
and some of it applies to the students.
Yes,
and so then you're like, okay, how is the schools going to communicate to all these kids at once?
Maybe they probably go back to the PA system. Okay. But maybe I'll stop getting so many stinking texts if they take the phones away.
All you have to do is cell phone jammers.
in the hallways.
Hallways. No, I think that is an issue. I don't have any kids like that are in like elementary age school dealing with some of that nowadays, but there does seem to be a little bit of a pushback against teachers when it comes to utilizing the technology that's available now, utilizing AI. Like, I can't remember if you said that to me today on the phone or if I was talking to somebody else whose wife's the teacher today, but we were talking about how they're just not they're just saying AI you can't trust AI with the information that it has and all this, basically trying to just discount everything new that's happened in the last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And
that was not me, but
that's not you, but they're trying to combat all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, because they're forcing their kids to memorize things still. Like we're still like on an old school way of teaching kids. And it's just, that's not going to be helpful for them.
Even us, we grew up in the 90s. We didn't have all this stuff. And I mean, shoot, I don't even have 10 phone numbers memorized anymore. Like, we're so dependent on technology. Let our students use the technology, because that's what really it's going to come down to, is how well they can source things in the future, not what you remember. Because I can't remember a single thing from school.
Well, and just remembering things when it comes to like even complex algebra questions, you can put in ChatGPT and it get it for you.
You can take a picture of it now and it just solves it for you.
Yeah, you don't even have to type it. You
No.
just like question, and that's probably more of why they're probably trying to combat cheating and all those kind of things more than they're combating like communicating with other students in schools. I'm sure that there's like, just drama that happens. Like you used to set up a lot of fights in high school.
Yeah, I did.
And now you can text fight, get your matchmaking going. You're like little Mr. Dana White in high school a little bit. But now you have somebody like texting back and forth the offers, fight at lunch. I had a heavy lunch. Let's do 1:00, something like that. But I'm sure that there's a lot of negative, even communicating things that happen when it comes to having the ability to text back and forth in school and not focusing on learning. But I think that there's also just a major not keeping our kids up to date with technologies moving fast. Even for me, like right now, and maybe that's what it is. The teachers don't understand it. So then they're just like, well, I don't understand it. So it must be not worth teaching. And it's like, no, they're going to become just as good as you if they don't.
Anyways, we kind of sidetracked there from what we were originally talking about because
I like the sidetrack. It's my spiritual gift.
Well, there's nothing, let's see, religion based in the cell phone ban. So let's bring that back.
Okay, you can text a Quran to something. No, the religion based was that you do have right now students, what I was originally bringing up
app.
Is right now the students have the Bible everywhere. And so I think the issue is not that there isn't an availability to the Bible for somebody. It is that we don't have people sharing the gospel to people that are in the schools. We don't have Christian teachers who are raising up and helping disciple their students, not necessarily just to always be Christian and preach at them, blah, 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 but like just helping them and caring about them, and
so what you're saying is America's youth Wednesday night usually is failing, being because they're not teaching our students well enough. And I know you can't, and we've talked about this in the past, you can't put it all on the pastors, but you also can't rely on the youth who come on Wednesday nights, but don't come on Sundays, usually because their parents aren't involved in church or sometimes even in the students' lives. So it does come down to Wednesday night youth and teaching and raising adults or raising these students to share the gospel.
Fine, I will raise you one.
Okay.
What's the point of Sunday mornings if we're not doing the same thing at work?
That's true. 100%.
So how about the church as a whole?
So why'd you lift your cup and then put it back?
I don't know. It was a heavy cup. I didn't want to spill it.
Looks like the Statue of Liberty holding that cup up.
I don't even know. Let's raise a glass to another point. I don't really know what. This is why it's an audio podcast, Andrew. Nobody was supposed to know I did that stupid gesture. No, but the point is that the Sunday, Wednesday, 1 day a week training discipleship crammed into 1 hour.
Right.
Those things aren't impactful. They're not raising true disciples. They're raising baby believers, and we send them out.
That are easily persuaded to go other directions.
And I say this as a major introvert who has a work from home lifestyle and talk to like 2 people a day. So I say that knowing that I am part of the problem. Okay.
Yes. I'm right there too. I'm part of that problem. We can, stay in your living room or whatever the den this is and talk about God all day long, but we don't go out there.
And we live in the Bible Belt where everybody's probably okay to talk about.
Right.
Especially everybody I run across.
Same.
Every time we get challenged at church with think of 5 people that don't know Jesus that's in your life right now. Think of one person you could talk to this week. And I'm like, I work at a place with 5 people in the office. They all went to ORU.
And at one point they all went to our church.
Yeah. And they all have gone to our church or are super active in their churches.
Right.
It's like, hey man, do you know the Bible?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to these guys.
And you can't throw a stone without hitting somebody who went to Rhema. So another Bible college here in town.
If you're not from here, we're just talking about different Bible colleges that everybody goes to.
So we probably have it the easiest, and we still suck at it.
We still do, yeah. And so I say that with a grain of salt, I guess. I raise my glass to a grain with a grain of salt.
Tongue in cheek. I mean, I say Wednesdays are failing, but
I got your point.
Right.
The point is I would say schools is the biggest mission field. It's the biggest population of unbelievers mixed with Christianity.
Well, and their minds are being molded at this point.
Right. Everybody's coming up with their
identity.
I can't remember what the statistics are about the age of salvation. And after 18, it starts dwindling dramatically. Not just like, it goes down 5%. No, right. It's like a crash.
Right.
It's stock market crash. Don't say the gesture I just did. Don't just move on.
I'm surprised you didn't do a bigger gesture.
Boom! Bang!
This isn't the 90s wrestling. WCW.
I think the point is controlling somebody through laws and regulations isn't going to change their heart. And I think that we still need to, as students listening, as adults going into our daily work, focus on loving people and trying to create disciples. And what a disciple is the mindset of, I'm going to find one person, going to lead them to Christ, and then I'm going to continue on with them, helping them develop to not just, hey, you led you to Christ, now we're good.
Right.
But help you join my Bible study, join our, let's keep talking about this.
Be a disciple maker.
Yeah. And then go out, and then now you too can find
pyramid scheme.
It is. I can't, what is the book called?
Pyramid scheme. No,
Rusty made me read it a long time ago. It's not the Celebration of Discipline. It is a different one about,
I'm going to say pyramids.
Maybe it's the makings of a disciple. Oh, I don't know. Anyways, the concept was somebody an evangelist who goes and saves 100 people a day is never going to save the world, even at that pace. But the theory of multiplication, where one person leads another person to Christ for a year, disciples them, then they go out, lead one person to Christ again. By the end of that, they're reaching everyone. They're changing the world. So the concept of that is more important than hoping somebody sees the 10 Commandments walking down the road and drops to their knees and says, Lord, take
with
my
that being said,
heart.
Will it have an impact? Yes, it will. I mean, surely one person, thousands upon thousands, if not millions, will be impacted by the 10 Commandments in the schools. So will it have an impact? Yes, a very minute impact that will probably be immeasurable, but it will still have an impact of some sort.
I don't think so. I think that's just...
I think in the way you're thinking, some
Christian dude to pat himself on the back and look, I accomplished something for the Lord.
I think the way in which you're thinking it, absolutely not. But I think it will have an impact, because a student will see that and be like, I want to go to church. I want to figure out this 10 Commandments thing. And that will have an impact in their life, and maybe they will or won't.
Or the negative, because we live in a Bible Belt where everybody's a Christian, where we know enough casually about the Bible and about the 10 Commandments, and that we all feel like everybody's going to heaven, but we know that that's not how salvation works, and that's not how heart change is. There's a lot of head knowledge.
We still have a number of Catholics around here.
We got a lot of head knowledge people in the Bible Belt, but we don't have a lot of heart relationship people with Jesus Christ. And so that's
right.
That's the thing that I don't think is getting solved through the 10 Commandments.
The real question of the day, because you're a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, I love him.
Did J.D. Vance kill the Pope? What's your take on that, Dusty?
I actually haven't heard that one. There was a big J.D. Vance meme going around. Maybe that's what it was about.
Because J.D. Vance met with the Pope the day before.
Oh,
he died. Shook his hand, and next thing you know, the Pope's dead.
There was a lot of people that believed the Pope has been dead for a while.
I'm right there with them. I feel that I also believe Biden was dead for a while.
And then, why does every picture that he's in with family look like he's photoshopped in the background?
Yeah,
I just love those.
Looks like Weekend at Bernie's. Weekend at Biden's.
Now we're really off track on the Bible and legislation.
That's because we're over 30 minutes, and I just had to get the conspiracy theory, because there was a new Pope elected, the first American.
Yeah,
that's weird.
USA. That's right. USA.
We put our hands over our hearts here.
Oh God. We could talk about that at a different podcast, or you would talk about it now?
I mean, it's up to you because I feel
It's like a 2-minute story, so go ahead.
Is it a 2-minute story? Because I can go on that.
Oh,
rant.
God. Well,
So I pulled up. I was just driving down the road. I wanted to listen to something different, so I just went on Spotify, typed in Christian podcasts, and I found one. It was an hour and 24 minutes long.
woo!
Which is a long one because you guys know we like to keep it to half an hour, although we're already over half an hour. Hopefully Dusty will edit this down.
Oh, there's a lot of stupid things I said.
And so I'm listening to it, and it's a podcast that, so Dusty and I were talking about what we wanted to talk about this week. And I went on ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, hey, what are the hot topics in the Christian realm right now? Well, the very, very first one was Christian nationalism. And I was like, oh, we could talk about this, Dusty. And then, obviously we decided not to. And I'm on Spotify. I am
Spotify GPT.
Yeah, Spotify GPT. I'm on Spotify looking for a podcast. And the very first podcast, Christian national, whatever. Christian nationality or nationalist, Christian nationalist.
Yes.
Tongue twister. Very first one. I was like, you know what? Let's listen to this GPT generated topic. And I did. So I'm not going to go into it. But long story short, one of them doesn't put their hand over their heart when they say the pledge or the national anthem. And me, serving in the military, I do. But even before that, I still did. Just out of respect for our country and the people who served our country. So
it was more funny because Andrew basically on his way here, let me know what time he was going to show up today, was telling me the story. And part of what this dude said was like, man, I really support veterans and all this stuff, but it's just a personal choice for me not to put my hand over my heart as I, salute or say the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you knew any veterans,
right?
Personally, I went and played bingo at the VA,
the American Legion,
and you can't even play bingo without hand over heart and let's say the pledges of allegiance
and
together.
Remove your cover.
And so if you're somebody who's quote unquote does truly interact and support with veterans, you would know how strongly they feel about that topic.
Right.
And that your personal choice not to better be a dang good personal choice to not do something like that. So anyways, if you want to get a veteran riled up, do that.
Well, just talk about nationalism. That's how you get them riled up.
That's how you get them riled up.
So, and then also tell me that the Bible doesn't talk about or doesn't condone guns. That's another one that got me going.
You know what I saw, because I watched the David, the story of David, which once you watch it, we can talk about that a little bit. But it was pretty hilarious to me as far as like the correlation.
Right.
But technically Goliath brought a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
Because David in a sling with rocks, that wasn't like this, like, oh, wow, he threw a rock and it hit him. Like it went into his skull.
Yeah, it sank
in one hit headshot. The speed of that rock was the speed of a bullet. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
And so that is that it kind of takes away from like David is like this crazy miraculous thing because he just basically shot the dude in the head.
Right.
He just walked up to him and was like, boom, my God's bigger. So
what you guys didn't see was Dusty do the sideways kill shot with finger gun.
Finger bangs. Bing bong. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty. So also, funny.
Oh, man, this episode's going long, Dusty. So last week, I left early. It wasn't last week. It was for us, but we got out of order on the way we were released. So I left early when we had the comedian on, and he said, unpopular opinion, especially in Oklahoma, not everybody needs a gun, or no, the guns
not a biblical or Christian.
Yeah. So I started thinking, what happened in the Garden of Gethsemane, whatever it is, that word is, the garden where Jesus, went and prayed and the disciples fell asleep a few times. Mm-hmm. Peter chopped a dude's ear off with a sword. What was the gun of that time? I mean, it was a sword.
Yeah.
Clearly Jesus didn't have an issue with that because Jesus would have known Peter had it.
I think where people start going into the back and forth is people who say stuff like gun culture or whatever, and that could mean a lot of different things, right? So I think they say the Old Testament None of that is what Jesus really wanted to do. He didn't want to march and basically slaughter hundreds of thousands of people to take over their land, like the promised land, for instance. They disconnect that that's the same God that came in the New Testament.
Right.
Now, where I fall short of, buying into a lot of your gun stuff is like, I'm just not like my dad has failed me, as he would say. I'm not a fishing dude. I'm not a hunting dude. I'm not a car guy. I'm not a gun guy. Any of that like raw power kind of stuff just doesn't do it for me.
You like manicures, pedicures, and getting facials.
Whatever.
I get it.
I mean, I will put a face mask on with a wife if she wants to put a charcoal mask. Yeah. Okay. But I've never really been into those
manly
things. And so like a lot of our church men's ministries revolve around not just guns, but like just revolve around that kind of
thing,
macho stuff.
Right.
And like that's why like the only night I've gone to that I really enjoyed was poker night. Like we could do that every week and we'd be having a grand old time. But yeah, so like that was the only thing, like, but it has nothing to do with my personal beliefs as far as like are guns right or wrong.
Right.
So
anyways, we are well over our time, so we need to wrap this
You're
up.
so worried about the time. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Glad you got to hear Andrew's last rant about...
Wait, one more rant.
Oh, God.
They are pretenders. They are imitators. They stole my signature sign-off.
Oh, the people on this podcast.
I am so angry at them.
They didn't just steal it was one of those like, okay, you have the same topics. Oh, you have the same. Okay. I see how it is. I see what's going on here.
Right.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. We'll let you do it, Andrew, and you can do it with some purpose.
Some emphasis on it.
Okay. Yeah. Like, subscribe, listen to the podcast. And we, I don't know. I'll see you. We will see you again the next time that we see you.
Take it easy.
Do it one more time.
Take it easy.
There we go.